No, we gotta, somebody want to step up and help him out? Okay, if he can just state his name and what he does for the business, just for the record. Okay, and is he in a management at all?
Okay, so he's here on behalf of the management. He's not a manager, he's an employee, but he's here on behalf of the ownership.
Okay, I'm just gonna ask one quick question before we proceed here. Are they currently open for business?
Yes.
And the reason why I asked that is because this is an application for a new common vic, and they're not supposed to be open until it's been approved by the board.
He's open right now only with food. Only service.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be open.
Mike, I cannot hear you with that fucking. You usually read one.
I guess they're under the impression that they have no license to be open.
Okay, if you can just tell him, we're actually gonna table this again till the owners are here, so they can answer the proper questions and that. And the business cannot open until the board votes to give them a license. What they're doing right now is illegal.
So how will you get someone to inform the ownership?
He-
Someone will inform through a letter.
No, he can inform, and we'll send a notice that they'll have to get back. Actually, they'll be on the table, so they can automatically come for the next meeting, and we'll take it off the table, so they don't have to do anything but show up for the next meeting.
What's the date on the next
We're gonna try and have one next Wednesday.
So I tell them to close down until further notice.
Okay, thank you. So I'll entertain a motion to retable this.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye as well. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to take Flow Lounge and Bar Grill off the table.
So moved.
Second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye as well. Do we have anyone representing Flow Lounge? Could you come up to the podium, please?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, my name is Robert Kelly. I'm an attorney in Lawrence, with offices at 150 Parker Street. I represent Flow Lounge. First of all, I would like to thank the chairman and members of the board for granting a continuance of rather short notice. I had a mishap that landed me in Lawrence General for 3 days. I appreciate your consideration, but we're prepared to go forward now.
Thank you, Attorney Kelly. Hopefully you feel a lot better. Okay, great. So we're just gonna start off with Lieutenant Cirillo and then come right down the line. You're gonna read off whatever we have there, police reports, And if you have any questions, then we can ask the questions at the end. We'll ask questions. If you have questions for anyone on the board, then you can ask your questions, and we'll try and get everything together. So, Lieutenant Sorrell?
Good evening, Commissioners, good meeting, board members. Again, I'm going to read a report from Officer Calderon, report number 2100-4094. On this date, Officer Calderon, on June 29th, 2021, alongside his canine partner Baker, were in uniform patrol from the hours of 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. in a fully marked canine cruiser 410. At approximately 1:29 a.m., he was dispatched to 336 Common Street, known as Flown Lounge, for a fight. Upon arrival, a crowd was dispersing. He walked inside the business with Officer Teneo, Officer Santos, Officer Espinal to investigate. Upon entering the business, he was pulled aside by a female, Johanny Gonzalez, 9'3" of 79, claiming she was the business owner. Mrs. Gomez stated that people who were inside the club were looking for a fight, and they had left. He spoke with her security guards and said the males had left the business. At approximately 1:31 a.m., he was dispatched to the Lawrence General for a female with a laceration to her face, and that occurred inside Flown Lounge when officers were dispatched. Upon arrival, he met with Officer Dar and a male by the name of Louis Ledger, 9'30" of 94, outside the hospital. Mr. Ledger said he drove the female to the hospital in his vehicle, Mass Reg 3 Victor Lima Sierra 71. Officer Calderon made contact with Miss Gomez, 9'14" of 81. She was sitting in the bar having some drinks with friends, and someone threw a glass bottle to the bar area where she was seated. She got hit with it in the head and face, and touched her face and noticed that there was blood on her hands from her face and her head area. She panicked and told a friend and was brought to the hospital. She did not see who threw the bottle. Officer Da said that there was a family member of the victim in the emergency lobby. He made his way to the emergency lobby to gather more information from the parties that were with Ms. Gomez at Flo Lounge. He interviewed Flo Gonzalez, who claimed that she was the victim's cousin. She said that they were in Flo Lounge and they were sitting at the bar area when she was, when Ms. Gomez was struck in the head and went down for a moment. And later, she saw Mr. Ledger walk her out. She said she did not see what happened. I spoke with Louis Calderon, Ms. Gomez's friend. Mr. Calderon said he was sitting in the bar area, but he did not see anything until her friend Ledger told him what happened. At this time, he made his way to the hospital to check on her and her friend. Upon receiving the information from the victim and her friends, I radioed dispatch and headed to Flo Lounge to continue the investigation. Upon arrival with Officer Teneo, we made our way into the business. I spoke with the owner, Johanny Gonzalez, who is the cousin of the victim in Floria. Johanny said that she was serving drinks at the bar and saw a commotion across the bar, males arguing, and a glass bottle was thrown towards the bar area and hit her cousin, Gomez, on the face. When security was heading to the place where the commotion was, the males left the business. I asked Johanny for video surveillance, but she did not know how to navigate through the camera system. Johanny said that she could make it available to be viewed if we needed to. I interviewed a security guard by the name of Juan Luis Moreno. Security guard's date of birth was 5/24/70. He said some males were trying to get into the club While he was frisking them, a male with a black shirt and white short pants had a possible weapon on his right, in his right rear pocket, not precise what it was, and another had a pocket knife. The males were left the area and returned without it. He said it did not see who threw the glass bottle. I observed the laceration on Gomez's right upper eyelid. A photo was attached and taken. I provided my contact to all the parties. If it can provide information of the suspect, to call me or the department. I also told Johanny detectives will contact her to review surveillance video of the incident. At this time, there is no suspect, and the incident will be submitted to Detective Bureau for further investigation. I will submit a copy of the video request, gathered video of the incident, document attached, nothing further to report at this time. I can add that there was a detective follow-up of this investigation. I believe there was an arrest made of a suspect who threw the bottle from the bar area towards the victim and struck her in the head. At this time, there's nothing further to report.
There was a second incident there. Is that in any relation?
No relation. This is the second incident. It's a second totally different incident, so I don't know how you want to deal with. You want to deal with one at a time and then move on to the second, or go into the second report? Whatever the board's pleasure is.
I think if we just go right into the second report, then we can address everything after.
Okay. Again, I'm going to read a report by Officer Pardo. This report was written on July 6, 2021. Again, from Flow Lounge. Report incident number 2100-4175. On Tuesday, July 6, 2021, I, Officer Pardo, was working my assigned 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. shift in a marked cruiser number 434. At approximately 1:16 a.m., Officers Calderon, Muniz, and myself were dispatched to Flow Lounge at 340 Essex Street, or Common Street, rather, for a report of a large fight. Sergeant Gomez and Officer Baby also assisted on this call. While en route to the location, Traffic Control Officer Reyes, who was in the area prior to our arrival, was advised that someone was involved in a fight and brandishing a firearm. Upon arrival, several parties were scattering to their vehicles. I attempted to talk to 2 individuals. However, they were apprehensive to give out any information. One informed officers that a male who took off in a white Jeep that fled up Amesbury Street. Another individual stated this person left in a white BMW style SUV via the same trajectory. They were reluctant to say or give anything else. This info was immediately given out over the air. Traffic Control Reyes then stated he saw the white BMW flee the scene towards Lawrence Street before turning onto Irving Ave. Traffic Reyes ultimately saw the vehicle turn onto Trinity Street and stated that it parked for some time near the dead end. Due to several parties refusing to cooperate at the scene, responding officers cleared and made their way to Trinity Street. We found the white BMW parked on Avon Street just before Trinity. At this time, it was empty. I requested Traffic Control Reyes to come to our location. He ultimately was unable to verify if this was the vehicle in question, stating that he did not see a plate due to the speed in which the vehicle took off. Officer Muniz then pulled up camera footage of the incident. At approximately 1:15 a.m., a male wearing a white shirt, black pants, and a hat appears to have a long reaches into a white Jeep Grand Cherokee and grabs a long arm from the rear seat of the Jeep and proceeded to walk towards another group of people congregated in front of a white Audi in the middle of Common Street. At this point, they began to scatter and run away. The male with the white shirt then places the gun back into the Jeep and enters the driver's seat. Another male who was in all black appears to brandish a handgun and then enters the Jeep. It then takes off up the one-way on Amesbury Street. It should be noted that this vehicle was seen entering the rear lot of Necco. It ultimately gets onto Lowell Street, and at 1:17 a.m., it can be seen going down Lawrence Street before turning onto Maple Street. I then returned to the club to try to make contact with the owner. At this point, she was gone. However, a witness came up to me and spoke to me. The witness, ID'd as Christian Ayala, stated he saw the driver of the Jeep take out what appeared to be an AR-15. He stated that this individual, who he does not know, was stating issues with other individuals inside the club before it ultimately spilled outside. Christian stated that he was seated outside when this happened, and as soon as he saw the firearm, he ran inside. I then called the owner, Johanny, and left her a voicemail asking her to call me back. At roughly 3:45 a.m., Johanny returned my call. She informed me that she did not see what happened, but she did call 911 after a security officer advised her of the fight. I then asked her if she had any knowledge of what led up to this. She stated Benny Lantigua, owner of Opus Lounge in Nashua, was at Flow tonight. Somehow individuals he had kicked out of his club figured out where he was and confronted him about it. Johanny stated that was the only info she had, and that she wasn't very familiar with Benny, nor did she know his phone number. She then stated she would fully cooperate and review footage when she was arrived at work on 7/6. I proceeded to call Opus Lounge. However, I was unable to leave a message. I then called Nashua PD and requested Benny's information, to which they gave me. I subsequently called him and asked him what happened. He essentially reiterated what Johanny had told me. He kicked the male that brandished the long arm out of his club some time ago because of his behavior. This male recognized Benny tonight at Flow Lounge and started threatening him. When Benny went outside, these threats persisted. These two individuals followed him and ultimately brandished their firearms and threatened to kill him. I then asked if he knew their names. He stated off the top of his head he didn't. However, he stated that he would cooperate and attempt to get their info as soon as he could. I then gave him my department-issued phone number and extension and thanked him. I will attempt to follow up with Johanny at some point during the next day. In addition to this, I will also be getting camera footage from Amesbury Street, Necco campus, and attempt to potentially obtain the plate number on the Jeep. I also put it in DHQ, and the Jeep in question has not appeared. And distinct features such as a grille chrome, minor black trim around the bumper, and a rear bumper sticker. At this point in time, there is nothing further to investigation to continue. I do not have any update as far as any additional information that they have regarding this incident at this time. I know it's still under investigation.
All right, thank you, Lieutenant. Mr. Kelly, do you have any questions for Lieutenant Cirillo?
I don't have any questions, but I'd like to make a few comments.
Go right ahead, sir.
Reference to the first report on the incident on June 29th, as the report clearly indicates, Johanny Gomez, the owner and manager, called the police, took the police aside when they arrived, told them the story of what she knew, that there were instigators there that tried to start a fight and had left the premises. Later, she provided surveillance videos
Thank you, Mr. Kelly. Lieutenant Cirillo?
So again, I'd like to speak to report number 2100-4094, which is the first instance that occurred on June 29th. To the owner's credit, and as Mr. Kelly has indicated, the ownership was very cooperative. They did call police. We're not here for them calling the police. What we are here for is a matter which is in their control, which we have gone over ad nauseum with club owners in our educational seminars and when we do our visits, and that is bottle service. Bottle service in the city leads to over-service, and then it leads to putting weapons in the hands of patrons who are unruly. And that was what we're here for tonight, and what we're here to discuss. Because the person was hit with a bottle, and I wanna say the bottle was a Hennessy bottle, or a bottle that was on a table that they were drinking from, which again goes into over-service, and, which leads to incidents that we're seeing in the after hours at these locations. Again, we're not penalizing the club owner because they called the police. We want them to call the police. They did all the right things when these problems occurred. We want them to call us. We're not gonna penalize people for calling us. But where the problem lies here is in the bottle service, which became a weapon, that this poor lady got hit. Thank God it wasn't more serious. But we have had other clubs in the city where somebody gets hit with a bottle and, you know, necks are cut, carotid arteries are cut, and it leads to over-service, and over-service leads to problems out on the street. That's what we're discussing here in this report. Not that they didn't call. We appreciate their cooperation like they're supposed to do. We will not penalize people for that. We appreciate getting the video to us. Again, all in the rules and regulations. But again, the problem here is that lack of education, or the lack of making sure that these bottles aren't either secured by a bottle server or by a waitress. They're in the hands of patrons. And again, you can look no further to their webpage, which clearly shows people inside their club on any given night holding bottles of alcohol and drinking from it. That's an over-service, happy hour violation, and then which leads to what we see here.
Just a suggestion, it would be no different with a bottle of beer.
I'm not gonna make a distinction between either one, but when a bottle is being used as a weapon, and it's a bottle, but I'm sure it's a heavy bottle, and the only way to get that bottle is to have a table service, because other than that, it would be stored behind the bar. So they must have been out on the table, and I've been in that particular establishment with the task force, and it's a very small entrance to the bar area. And we have gone there and have seen the bottles sitting on top of tables, which it presents a problem in itself because it's a violation of waitress service as opposed to self-service. And as we stated, Lieutenant Cirillo stated, they tend to, and I have a picture of one gentleman with the bottle in his mouth tossing back, you know, the drink, and that's probably not a good way to establish your business in the social world. I'm gonna move on. Captain Delaney, you have any questions?
Nothing at this time.
Director Amano?
Nothing at this time, thank you.
Commissioner Darwin?
Nothing for me.
Okay, we've heard the evidence and presented by the police department and Lieutenant Cirillo. We've heard your argument. Do you need to state anything else before we make a decision on this? It's always a good place to start. Seeing that they did cooperate on 2 separate occasions, but I am definitely one that's against bottle service in all these establishments. I don't think it should be allowed, period, across the whole state. I think it sends the wrong message. So I'm gonna recommend a suspension of 60 days, 30 days to serve, 30 days probation. I'll send that in the form of a motion.
So moved.
Second it, all in favor?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. So that's 60 days, 30 days to serve, 30 days probation. You know, you have the right to appeal. Okay, that has to go. Okay, that'll go through the director's office and the legal services to do that. Once we get the clerk's minutes of the meeting. Okay, if we can make sure we get something forwarded, is that be able to do that within 5 days, Director?
I don't see any problem with that. We'll get it out as soon as we can.
Okay, well, you heard it. Okay, you're welcome. Have a good day. Okay, we're gonna move on to new business. El Caldero Restaurant, located at 3234 South Broadway, is applying for an entertainment license. Is there anyone here from El Caldero Restaurant? No one here from El Caldero Restaurant? I'm gonna make a motion that we table that.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Going on to the Party Connection, located at 300 Hampshire Street, which is applying for one-day wine and malt beverage license. And who do we have the pleasure to speak to? Okay, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna start with Lieutenant Cirillo and work our way across, and if they have any questions, we'll address them.
I don't have any questions.
Captain?
Nothing here. Fire department would be by the day of the event.
Director?
Nothing to add here, thank you.
Commissioner Down?
Yes, one question. So who is the license for? Central Catholic. So we need to correct this.
So right now it says licensee is the Party Connection, but can you explain that? Okay, so you're applying as, and you're gonna be on premise, holding the license, location will be at Central? Yes. Okay. All right. I'll entertain a motion to grant a one-day license to Party Connection.
So moved.
Okay, second it. All in favor?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye as well. Good luck with that function. Third on the agenda, Spigot River Brewery, located at 56 Island Street, is applying for a one-day all-alcohol license. How you doing? Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing, Lieutenant Cirillo.
What this is for. This is for Reading Cooperative.
Okay, thank you. Lieutenant? Captain? Commissioner? And Commissioner Down.
No, no questions.
Okay, we don't have any questions at this time, so I'll entertain a motion to grant the one-day license, Spigot River Brewery.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye,
Aye. Roll call, Commissioner Darwin.
yes.
The chair votes yes as well. Okay, good luck with that, sir. You're granted that one-day license. You're welcome. You too. Okay, fourth up on the agenda, Choice Motor Group, located at 431 South Union Street, is adding Antonio Medina to their corporation. Okay, can you just state your name for the business? Okay, thank you. So this is just a change of corporation, adding a name to the corporation? Okay, I'm looking on your application, it says renewal. Okay, so you've already done the paperwork that the city requires and for the state and that. All right, so we'll just go right down the line, Lieutenant Cirillo? Captain Delaney? No. Director Mano?
Just if you need to update your business registration with the Board of Health, you can do business registration online on CitizenServe. If you need to update that with your health and safety officer, please do that.
Commissioner Darwin?
No questions.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to add Antonio Medina to Corporation of Choice Motor Group.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye,
Chair votes aye as well. Roll call, Commissioner Darwin?
yes.
And the chair votes yes as well. Okay, so you're all set to do that. We can just follow up on what the director said, Director Mano? Okay, fifth up, One Way Top Motor LLC, located at 1 Water Street, is applying for a motor vehicle Class 2 license. Do we have someone, One Way? Can you just state your name for the record, sir? Okay, sir, before we get going, I've looked through your CitizenServe. I did not see a site plan on there attached to it, to the property line. Can you just move closer to the mic so we can hear you? Yeah, the property line, as you're stating that you want to put 12 cars on there. And I don't see a site plan on here, a blueprint of the lot itself. You know, so I'd like to see a site plan on there at some point. We're gonna start right here with Lieutenant Cirillo, see if he has any questions.
On whether it infringes on the rail trail. It's a very small lot, and I know there's a lot of plans for that rail trail, so I think we need to definitely find out where their boundary lines is in a clear manner, so we can go up there and re-examine it prior to granting the 12 cars that are gonna be on that lot.
Okay, Captain Delaney?
The fire department conducted an inspection here and they're in compliance.
Okay, Director Mano?
Yeah, just wanted to add, I did take a look at the map, the property line on my maps through the Merrimack Valley Partnership. And it just looks like a small parcel of land. I can't see how the 12 cars fit on it. There was some pictures that were submitted to Inspectional Services, which had 12 cars squeezed onto the lot. A lot of them, if you can picture this, was facing the direction towards the future rail trail, so it looks like you'd have to go over that to park there. There was no lines marked on the lot, and there was the nose of a couple vehicles being on what